welcome back to another very special episode of the Film Alchemist podcast, the show where we look at movies we love, break them apart, to find out what gives them their magic. Magic. I'm your host, Josh Griffey, joined as always by my friend, co-host, and what happened to his hair, Chucky doll.
Alex Dandino.
All right, guys. You know the deal. October, Mega Marathon, The Descent into the Horror Abyss. 31 days, 31 pods. Today, we continue our jaunt into the Child's Play franchise with the Cult of Chucky. But first, a little business, guys. It's official. Your friends here at the Film Alchemist, we're on Patreon. That's patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. For as little as $1 a month, guys, you dip yourself into the waters of the old Alchemist waters.
Dip your toes in, friends.
Yeah. See if it fixes your humors, all that good old-timey medical stuff. And get in, see what we're working on, guys. Then, for a little extra money, as you start to climb the Highlander rankings, you get to actually select the movies you want us to talk about. It's the best way to help the show, guys. It's also the best way to help us help you get the show that you want and deserve. Again, guys, that's patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. For those of you that support us, thank you so much. You know how much you guys mean to us. For those of you who are about to, thank you as well. Go to the YouTube. Film Alchemist is the channel. Make sure to subscribe. You can see video versions of most of our pods there, along with other fun video content that we're always rolling out. You can email the show, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you find us. Help us fight back against those just creepiest of algorithmic therapists. Help us fight them, because that needs to happen. And we're on all the socials that you guys are on. We're easy to find. We love talking to you. We'll see you soon. We'll talk soon.
Chit chat all day.
Right. Man, just really ran out of steam there at the end of business. All right, guys. Today, we continue our jaunt through the Child's Play franchise. We just were vexed by the curse of Chucky. But we made it. And we had talked about, well, the curse of Chucky is definitely the darkest day in the Child's Play franchise. It is a movie that is boring and near unwatchable. They found some things. There are some things that we actually liked, right? It's funny, right? The movies with the things that actually are pretty good, they hurt a little more when they miss. Mm-hmm. Cult of Chucky is a direct response to what I'm assuming is the vitriol that Curse of Chucky suffered, right? Cult of Chucky does the exact opposite of Curse, which is it is constantly fun. They are throwing every idea they can think of at the wall and seeing what sticks. Whereas the last movie said, let's pull out the fun and guts of Chucky and just make a really drab horror movie that's not really very horrifying. This one got back to the fun stuff of Chucky and then some. What they forgot to do, right? This is kind of the Scarecrow Chucky movie where they forgot to add the brain, right? If we're on our way to Oz, forgot to add the brain in this one. None of it adds up. Hardly, almost nothing makes sense. But it's fun, it's wild, it's interesting. And it has some really fucking awesome scenes in this film. Alex, opening thoughts on the Cult of Chucky.
Yeah, this is sort of like the Now That's What I Call Chucky movie, you know?
Yes.
Like, it's like those now, like it's like the Now records, but for Chucky, like for Child's Play.
Absolutely. This is a greatest hits Chucky movie.
Yeah. And look, it works for me. Like,
absolutely
it was interesting.
works.
Like, after we did the pod, so the critic rating for Curse was like 76%. It did very well.
Out of what, like 4 critics?
21. It was a Rotten Tomatoes score. Like
really? Well, and this is something I like about the horror community is most horror writers kind of protect the horror, right? Like they're trying to find ways to love horror films, which I think is a very admirable quality that we ascribe to too. We try to find the things to like.
Right.
Great.
So it was interesting because I think this is immeasurably better, but I think it's also because it's a greatest hits record. Like, you know, again, station to station, Great record. You know why? Because it's all Bowie's hits. That's a great. Like you can't. It's
no summer is complete without a greatest hits of Jabuff.
Stop. No,
I understand exactly.
You
what
had
you're
to bring
saying.
it in. You had to bring it in, didn't you? You just had to bring up Jabuff.
Oh, because this movie happens in an asylum, we're all gonna pretend we don't like Jimmy Buffett. Okay, I get the game you're running on me.
Yeah, come on. This is a Decemberist crowd, all right? Everyone knows it.
You slipped on a pop top and you woke up in an asylum and you're like, "What happened to my perfect son?"
But yeah, like to me, this is like this is another like haunted house bit, which works really well. Like the last two, because they're lower budget, they're video on demand. Don Mancini takes all his powers and he's like, okay, I'm just going to put them all in one place. We're going to set design the shit out of it. And we're going to let the creeps roam. And that's what we do. And like, it's such a good bit. And then, yeah, like you just have this greatest hits of Chucky. And then you have this like thing he's been trying to do since like, I think I read Child's Play 3, which is like the multiple Chucky thing. And it's,
I got
things,
me,
man.
I got things about that. I mean, it's funny because coming off a Curse, right? I watched these back to back, and I had not seen these before. Mm-hmm. Before we started doing this franchise, right? I think I had gotten really drunk or high, and I fell asleep to Curse of Chucky once. But you know, that's what that movie's good for. Sorry, yeah. I'm going to stop taking shots at Curse of Chucky.
So did the people who made Curse of Chucky. Anyways.
Right, but this movie starts off, and I remember I'm kind of like, all right, I'm getting ready to take my notes and this and that. And all of a sudden it's oh, you like the Second Amendment? And I was like, oh, God, no, what's happening? What is happening? And we're at a date, right? And there's just these two people on a date talking about the Second Amendment and being a gun nut. And I was like, oh, God, no. Like, why? Like, after coming off a Curse, I had such a little wiggle room in what I was hoping to see. Mm-hmm. It took me minutes to realize, oh my God, that's Andy. That's grown-up fucking Andy Barclay.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, now I'm back. This is interesting. I like seeing where Andy's been. We go back to Andy's home. Also, he lied to that date. He is a gun nut. So I'm glad she dumped him.
Good for him.
I mean, granted, if any guy's got a reason, it's him, right? It's him and Laurie Strode in Halloween. So that's fine. But he did lie to her. Never forget. This gets into this amazing fucking beat. So he goes back to his cabin, right? And he has the military sweatshirt. Behind that is because he mentions, they're like, what happened? He's like, justice was had. And he shoots at Chucky, and we're like, wait, we're not going to see that again? Again, I'm getting Curse vibes. I'm starting to sweat. I'm shaking. I'm all like, no, not again. I can't do this again. Right? It's like the Jumanji movies, as they say, right? Like, how do we get in this game again? Anywho, he takes down the thing, and out of the safe comes a fucking massacred Chucky's head.
So awesome.
And it's kind of this amazing, almost like Walking Dead-esque scene, right?
It's such a cool little piece of it's such a cool piece.
The effects are amazing. And what it is we find that he has become this kind of isolated loner, survivalist type. And that he has the head of the Chucky doll that came to get him. Yeah. And that he shot him in the head, right? We see the carnage. And he essentially pulls this thing out and just gets high or drunk and talks to it.
Yeah.
And tortures it. And when he brings out the blow, because at one point he opens a drawer and I was like, mall weapons? Right? Like he has that like Wolverine claw that every mall store that sells incense has. I was like, wait, what? He gets out a torch though.
Well, I thought he was going to, I thought it was... At first, I thought it was going to be the good guy stuff from the first movie.
The good guy hammer? The world's most dangerous toy?
The world's most dangerous toy, yeah. I was
like, they didn't show you the good guy's fucking nail gun and the good guy's jackhammer. That would have been amazing if the torch had been a good... But anyways, so he starts flaming the Chucky head, right? Boom. Cult of Chucky. And immediately... I just sunk back into my couch and I was, oh, God, thank you. I knew that this movie would be different. I knew that if nothing else, this movie was not going to make the same missteps that The Curse of Chucky made. That is a fucking brilliant horror movie opening. One, because it's so rare that, one, we get to see adult survivor horror movie characters and what happens to them after all this trauma. But two, the fact that he has this victim, right? Like, what if you had Freddy Krueger chained up, and what would you do to him, right? It's this amazing moment. There's kind of a deep psychosis in this moment, right? It's very, again, it's one of those, it's really a terrifying thought of the life of this guy. And that's great. By the time we get to the asylum, which is very fast, we're getting back into the world of Curse of Chucky. And I think the kindest way you can say it is that the story of this film is non-existent, might be harsh, but clunky, right? Like clunky is probably a fair.
I mean, it's basically they just give you like the set pieces. They give you the set pieces you need. Like that's really
show you the
like,
rooms. They fill the rooms with patients. Kill.
Yeah, it's again. It again goes back to it's the Clue thing we talked about yesterday. Like it's Clue again, just in an asylum, and everyone's got their own thing. And again, I was hooked. Like that opener is so important. Like
yes,
it encapsulates the entire movie because like that's the starter. Like you're gonna start with this guy, this kid who is traumatized when he's young, and essentially is taking it out on a doll, which should be wrong, and yet you're sort of saying like, "Good for you, kid. Good for you."
Oh God. The catharsis in that is something that is almost unparalleled in a horror movie.
I mean, and it should not be catharsis, and yet we're sitting here and we're like, oh, good for him. God, he's getting that out. Like, it's a very weird moment that works really well and sets the tone perfectly for the rest of the movie, so everybody knows what they're set up for.
I think the problem would be, right, is that opener is so metal, right? Because it even has, like, that, Skinamax, like, sunset over the city, and I was like, or the moon over the city. I was like, oh! But then you're like, all right, good, we're in. The problem is once we get back to the asylum, like one of the biggest question mark of the movie for me is why our main character, I cannot remember the character's name, right? Fiona Dorff's character, right?
Yeah, Nika.
Nika, that's it, Nika. So why Nika and Andy's storylines never cross? And never, because this is the thing, the Andy opener is great. We find out later that Andy took that fucking decrepit face doll to the therapist who's like, you should get a job in Hollywood. This motherfucker, we'll get to him. And just blows it off. Like, no one thinks it's strange that, again, people are getting slaughtered around good guy dolls, right? This Sodom and Gomorrah that we've apparently become in this modern age. But the fact that at the end, Andy just is like, I want to be in the asylum, and punches a guy and then is in the asylum. You're like, all right, they're going to meet up. It's going to matter. I guess you could say they do for a brief second. I thought this was the big miscue of the movie.
I would normally agree with you. Like, I would say 100% you're right.
I just wanted more Andy. That opener was so cool.
Yeah, I would say yes, you're 100%. But the payoff... the payoff works. I do wish there was a better confrontation between the two of them. Like that.
Okay,
I think
that's what I agree on too. If there had been more to those two, like showing up, because this again, the amount of Chuckies that are just being passed through the mail, right? UPS is an accomplice in this mass murder spree, and the Chucky who has, but that was a great touch, right? His Chucky doll that he stuffed the gun into. Yeah. Had the military haircut that the creepy barber gave them at the military. Mm-hmm. Beautiful fucking addition, right?
Really cool touch.
He goes in and, Andy has at him and rips a gun from his belly. You're like, yes! Stop wasting bullets, but yes! And then it doesn't matter. And that hurt. Because it was really cool to see Andy back. But this is Nika's story. So let's get back to the Nika thing. I think they did a pretty good job in this. Again, it's like I said, it's literally just fish in a barrel movie, right?
Yeah.
I thought the fish were pretty good for the most part. I think maybe multiple Malcolm was not used to great effect. There's a couple moments, and it's a Don Mancini thing you start to realize at this point with like the Britney Spears kill and this and that. He loves mentioning topical things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is Chucky, when he's in the UPS box, like just watching YouTube all day or what? I mean, Zuckerberg.
Well, as we found out, yes, in fact, he is.
Yeah.
Not only is he looking up voodoo spells on the internet, he's probably just crushing like mukbang videos nonstop.
I love the idea that Chucky's just like on YouTube leaving really angry comments that Hannibal was canceled. I was like, what? Anywho. Yeah, what did you
Chucky's
make of our
Hannibal
inmates,
campaign.
right? What did you make of this group of characters?
I mean, for me, they're pretty cookie cutter. Like, again, it didn't really like none of them necessarily registered besides Nika for me. I
not even the mom.
Eh.
I mean, it took a long time, but when they got to the scene where she was unveiling what she did to the Chucky doll, and obviously her son Joshua, I actually thought that was great. Like, that's the character they never found in Curse of Chucky, right? That, again, is real horror movie shit. I thought that was cool that she's just like, I mean, dude, you're a parent. When she said he just wouldn't stop crying, and I was like, fuck, man, been there, sister. Been there. Not as far as you, obviously.
Well, no, like that part, I mean...
That's relatable, good character stuff.
I'm not saying it's not relatable. It's fine. I think I'm just so... Like, this movie focuses so... Like we were talking about. This is like super like fish in a barrel, greatest hits type shit. The one thing for me that it does very, very well more than anything is it focuses very solely on Nika's journey to the inevitable ending. Like, and it's almost like that is literally the only thing, like nothing else matters. It's like a Mack truck blasting through the plot of this movie. Nothing else matters to get us to the end of this movie other than Nika's journey to whatever she's about to... I don't disagree. Like, yeah, when the mother says that, yeah, like you do have that register, but like ultimately, and again, like the inmates are, I don't know if you call them inmates, patients. The patients are...
But I think these are criminally sentenced patients.
Are they? Okay, cool. So inmates of some kind.
Or at least Nika is. The lady killed her baby. The other lady
Claire
burned
the house down.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I don't know what either way Malcolm did, or the ghost lady, right? The old lady who thinks she's invisible. Yeah. I gotta say, did you think it was strange that we just go to Nika getting blasted in her wheelchair immediately? There's a part, because I debated this with my wife, because I was like, yeah, man, if I'm locked up for like crimes I didn't commit, my family's dead, like I've been through some shit. I was like, yes, because in every movie you end up in an asylum where you're like, there are shocking amounts of people with abs and that are good looking in this place. All right, like that's pretty convenient, right? For these asylums. So I was like, all right, you have an oasis. And I told my wife, I was like, yeah, if I'm Nika, I'm like, yeah, fucking beat the brakes off it.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to the dumpster, wherever, and like just blast it off.
Not only that, like she's been convinced... Like, you find out she's been convinced that she's the one who committed all these murders. Chucky's not real.
Chucky
blah, blah,
was
blah,
her
blah.
mask, yeah.
Yeah,
she was an over-jealous aunt, and it's really sad.
Of course. Oh, dude, no. That's what I'm talking about. Like, everybody has their own beat, but Nika's beat is such a...
all right, before we do that, I want to clarify the question for you. So not only does she just start blasting with Malcolm... Did you think it was at all cringy when the very next scene he's like, oh, I have multiple personalities? That felt gross to me.
Cringy?
It was weird. I feel like I'm almost impossible to offend, right?
Well, my question was like, which personality was going to town? That was like, I'm like, where are we at with that? That would be
that's weird though, right? It was sad because he kind of sticks up for her in the meeting, and you're like, all right, yeah, she found someone in here that's down for the cause, right? Whether it's like all the way, loyal or whatever, or if he's just doing it for now, like she's got someone who's on her side. And when they did the multiple personalities, I was like, oh, that's kind of gross. That's kind of gross. Not to belabor this point, but I just thought I'd bring it up.
Actually, you bring up a really interesting point because I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know. The multiple personality thing in movies is very like, unless you're going to do 3 Faces of Eve, that can't be a character.
Well, I was like, couldn't they have had their meet cute
Yeah.
And then not beat cheeks, and then he's just like, oh, hey, you know, Tucker's Carlson. I'm TV's Tucker Carlson now. And she's like, oh, gross. And doesn't bang him right, or like whatever pop culture reference. I'm TV's, fucking Steve Irwin. That's what I do today. And it's like he's fighting a caterpillar in the corner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do something like that. Don't go straight to the sex. But then, I don't know, me and my wife kind of settled on, we're like, well, yeah, man, if you, like, this is a pretty sad existence. If you can have even a moment of pleasure, I guess you would take it.
I guess. I don't know. For me, it was it's one of those like character beats that just doesn't pay off a lot for me in the movie, to be honest with you.
That you think Malcolm's going to have an awesome payoff.
Well, because my immediate thought, like, once we get deeper into the movie, is like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Like, this is going to be, like, this is, like, that's exactly what I thought. Like, I'm like, shit, dude, this is going to get real,
when he comes out of the grave. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. And then, yeah, it's just not, again, like, if you're going to have a character like that with that kind of story, they either need to be the main character of the movie. They can't be the side piece. Like, you just can't do.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I thought it's way better the way that the Hide the Soul game finally pans out. Like, after all these movies, Hide the Soul works, right? Yes. Chucky finally got his. Dumbala's like, you've been through enough for some reason.
No more pink sock for you, bud.
Yeah, you're unpink socked. Now you're in. But
your prime points have paid off.
Yeah, and it works, right? That works so much better than if it was multiple Malcolm. There is a strange bit, though, when she confronts him and she's like, you're just a fucking poser. Did he maybe hit it and quit it? Did he pretend to be Michael Phelps a wee bit too much? Was this a ruse? A clever ruse to keep himself open for the pornography nurse? Perhaps.
Thou doth protest too much?
Perhaps the Malcolm multiplies too much? Do I detect a little hint of, trying to have porno nurse and Nika?
Yep.
I think that's what they're telling us. Now it's not as creepy. Actually, that's creepier.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
That's
went
too
creepier far.
Now.
That was the it's. I mean, you pushed it there, but yeah, it went too far.
And then he got his. It's fine. He got his. I don't know. I think one of the things this movie does is, again, if you're not really going to have a story, or that sounds harsh when I say it like that, right? But there are horror movies that are a journey, right, to like solve the problem, right? Why are we being haunted? Why is this happening to us? And confronting some kind of evil.
Right.
This movie is an inevitability film. They even talk about it several times where she's like, you're all going to die. This is what happens. He'll kill all of you and he comes for me. This is what happens, right? We know exactly. The moment you see that pornography nurse, dead. The moment you see the orderly, dead. The therapist for sure got to die, right? We just know everyone's going to get it. Okay, so what do you do then? In lieu of what? We're not trying to unravel. There's no interesting mystery or questions, right?
No.
I think they do a really good job of making the characters really interesting. I think you could argue this is the most interesting set of characters we've had since Child's Play 3, maybe in the whole series. I liked all the different psychoses except for multiple Malcolm doesn't really work. Maybe if he's just the creep who's in there, that's a little more interesting, right?
Well, I mean, they all are this. I mean, they're all kind of this collection of people who we've seen not seen technically. They're this collection of like people we've seen in previous movies in the way that like they all have this shared, not shared trauma, but they all have trauma that has like shocked their system. It's like all of them are this version. All of them are this version of Nika, so to speak. So what like any one of them would be a suitable, we'll get to that later, but like any one of them could be a suitable host. You know what I mean? Like all of them have this.
I think Nika's fighting is uniquely qualifying for her, though.
Sure, but like all of them are, they are the like cookie cutter. Cookie cutter is where I'd start with them, but then as the movie goes on, certainly there's better. Again, it's all a very good. It's a very good haunted house.
It's kind of hard to do this because there's not really like a narrative through line or arc we need to follow. Like, we're just kind of jumping. Let's talk about something that I did not expect coming, and I had a literal like like a gasping moment. Chucky being breastfed?
Wow.
That was a lot added in, and I had an audible reaction to what? Because I do think Chucky and the mom is the best B story of the film, right?
Yes.
Well, I guess Andy and the doctor are good too. A lot of them are good. This is just a much better version of the movie. Why? Okay, so I know why she's breastfeeding. Chucky then bites and makes it bleed. Like Chucky liking it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like.
We see that Chucky's actually back to flesh and blood in this one, so maybe the pipes are flowing again.
Yeah, I did not know what to think of it, to be honest with you. Like, that was one of those things where I was just like, that was another example of this like greatest hits thing. I'm like, cool. So we're just like, whatever weird shit has been like left on the cutting room floor.
This is the important thing, right? This isn't as much a greatest hits now that I'm thinking about it as when Rush came out with 2112. Where they're like, this is a concept piece of new and wild ideas that you may not be prepared for.
Well, this is, sorry. Okay. It's not a greatest hits. This is a B-sides record of like, and like outtakes type stuff. Like when you buy like the deluxe edition of albums and you're like Pet Sounds has this like 30 track, like, hey, listen to Brian Wilson, like bitch at his brothers for not being able to hit pitch, that kind of stuff. Like that's kind of how a lot of these bits are. And like, that's the breastfeeding thing was like,
that's in my mind now for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like I'll never not unsee that. But again, it's one of those like pieces that you leave on the outtakes or you leave on like the cutting room floor. Like Don Mancini has this idea like tucked away in a box. And he's like, I'm throwing that in here. I'm going to finally get my multiple Chuckies. Like I'm going to do all the things I want to do.
Yes, I agree. I mean, there is something to it though, because I would say that's just like why did you add that? But I think the watching her play out the death again of her son and kind of begging for it to be okay, I thought was really cool, right? And
some pathos there, yeah.
Well, because what happens is when he comes back from the grave, right, and he's in her room, and a mother's love never dies, right? Which is a really horrifying thing for this lady to say who literally killed her own child, right?
Yeah.
And Chucky goes, even when she kills it. And it's just, there's this weird, he's preying on her in a different way than we've seen in the franchise, right? She's not just the person who's going to put him in a UPS box and perfectly wrap it. There's something extra going on. And I think the breastfeeding takes it to that. Chucky is strangely in on this kind of role-playing exercise with her. And when she just asks him to like come hug her one more time, there is something... I mean, and that's what I mean, right? Does it tell me an enormous amount? No. But at this point of the franchise, those new ideas and those new twists on how Chucky's doing what he's doing, this one I thought was really deeply unsettling.
Well, I mean, I think what it does, it resets the depravity meter. I think that's like the really important thing about Cult and what Cult does better than like what Curse couldn't do is Curse is trying to be this, because like Curse comes out in 2013. It's trying to be this other movie altogether. Like it's trying to put Chucky in the movies that were popular at that time. This movie celebrates everything that Child's Play does, but more importantly, it resets what makes Chucky great, which is like, it's not a one-liner thing. It's not the kills. It's nothing like that. It's how depraved the scenario is. Like we talked about this in the first fucking episode of the month. Like it's insane. This should not work at all. Like it would be a tossed idea on every level. It resets the depravity though to the point where you're like, okay, like literally anything could happen now in this movie and I would be accepting of its outcome because quite frankly, like it doesn't matter. Like every single thing that gets piled on after that, for me personally, even like story-wise, like once we get into the later stuff between like Nika and Andy and all that shit, there's nothing off the table. I think that's the thing that this movie does better than any of the other ones is nothing's off the table in Cult of Chucky. Because it's really this like Don Mancini last hurrah. Because I think he kind of knows it too.
But and I think that's the fun thing though, right? Is while it is depraved, as you said, there is a kind of absurd fun to it, right? Like just watching Chucky play the part of this lady's son, or when he talks to the lady who's like, I know you're not real, but I just like being with you. And he's like, what the hell? And he's getting mad. Like there's an absurd playfulness in it, even as it gets dark. And I really quite enjoyed a lot of that kind of stuff, right? It's hard to pick where to go next. Let's talk about the cult, right? Because they talk at a certain point in the film later on, they just start calling it cult, like the cult's growing. It feels strange that he's already just referring to it as a cult.
Does it?
Let's talk about the idea first, because the whole voodoo for dummies joke sucks. That is one of the shittiest moments in the Child's Play franchise, right? And I'm hoping that was Chucky trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And he just threw that out there as like a dad joke. I gotta say, the multiple Chuckies. Come on. You could have done.
Doesn't work for you? Are you saying it doesn't work for you, or are you saying that it's just this isn't the right movie for it?
There's two issues I have with it, right? Because I think the idea of multiple Chuckies is fine. I thought they were setting us up, right? Is that at the start of Child's Play 3 or 2, whichever one, right? Chucky gets melted in the factory and his blood gets mixed into the plastic.
2.
So I thought they were going to say that within every Chucky doll, there's a seed of Charles Lee Ray. Right?
I thought that too. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this makes sense. Because you start wondering, like, how is he doing this? And there's a small moment where you're like, are they just going to play this she's actually insane angle?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that seems far-fetched. You're like, all right, so it's got to be the blood in the plastic. When he's just like, yeah, I can just make perfect copies of myself everywhere. It kind of gets back to the two problems that I have, right? Which is, one, in the last movie in Curse, the fact that Chucky doesn't have blood and guts and there's no physical harm to him ruins a lot of the best stuff that Child's Play does, right? I hate that.
Right.
This serves that same purpose of now there's just like 6 Chucky, so why is... It's devaluing Chucky. He's not special anymore. He's just another Chucky, right? Also, I feel like it kind of shits on the biggest idea of the franchise, which is hide the soul. He's not trying to just make 50 other fucking Chucky dolls to go on a reign of terror, right? We've already talked about ad nauseum on this, series retrospective. If he wanted to be the best just murderer, getting the most body count and the coolest kills, the doll's the way to go.
Yeah, totally.
Especially like 100 dolls. That's not what he wants to do. He wants to be a person. By seeing him play hide the soul with other stupid fucking Chucky dolls, it somewhat takes the piss out of that moment when he finally achieves it with Nika. To me.
I don't know if I can see your point of view. Like, I think this is the catch-all for these movies. Like, again, like we've talked a lot about the uniqueness of Chucky. Like, because I agree, like there is this sort of strange thing about like Charles Lee Ray being unique in his own regard. Like that is what Charles Lee Ray, that is like Chucky's MO through every movie, is that he's the one. He's the only one who's like him. So yeah, there is this like level of devaluing, I guess, but I'm not sure it's necessarily that simple. Like for me, what it really boils down to is, from a story perspective, what it's doing is referencing, I think, like Seed a little bit by saying like, okay, like this happened, and instead like that's the imperfect version. Like this is the perfect version of me dominating the way I want to dominate. And not even dominate's the wrong word. No, I wouldn't even say dominate. Like what it is about him becoming more, so to speak. And it's like it's also this weird like serial killer like hedge your bets thing. As we find out,
it's weird because in this one again he has to call to Damballa every time.
Yeah.
So it's also taking the piss out of this godlike being that's just letting him replicate into these dolls. It felt, I don't know. And
it takes away the Damballa, sure.
This is the thing though too, right? If you're gonna do the multiple Chuckies, and Chucky's not special, and being a human's not special, and Damballa's not special. What did we get out of that? We got one scene where 3 Chucky dolls just massacre an orderly. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
The rest of the way this played out, just because there's a Chucky that needs to do Nika and Malcolm and Andy, is there no way that one Chucky can do that? Like he's done the entire franchise? I don't think I don't think we got enough for what was lost. That's the math I would do in my head.
Yeah, I guess this is like the part about...
It's a pretty small fucking gripe in a movie because it really only lasts like a couple minutes at the end.
Right, but we're also on the 7th movie, so like there's no way, especially finally getting to this thing that Don Mancini's wanted to do since fucking Child's Play 2 or 3.
Yeah.
There's a diminishing returns quality to it. Like you're like, okay, like this probably should have happened way, way, way earlier in the franchise. The fact that it didn't maybe means that because it does.
Well, there's a logical problem, which is, okay, so now he's in a human again. Is he going to keep making more Chuckies?
There's a whole other, like, this goes back to what we were talking about the last show, is the goal of Charles Lee Ray. Like, what's the goal of Chucky? Chucky's trying to become a human again. Okay, cool. That's what starts this whole thing up. He's trying to become Andy. Like, he knows he can get away with whatever if he's a kid. He's trying very hard to become a person again. And he spends like 3 movies trying to figure that out. And then we take this little detour where he's like, I think I'm cool being me and I'm going to find a companion to be like me too. This is the first time. And like, again, like this is the first time in, it's almost like he doesn't care that he got like this should be a huge moment in the movie. This should be a huge moment in the franchise. And it's almost like, all right, cool, done, got it. But now what? What are we moving on to? Like, it's a very weird thing that this is the movie that this happens in. You know what I mean?
And they almost immediately kind of kneecap the idea. Except the idea is, I'm fucking sick of Damballa oppressing me and pink socking me into these dolls. Fuck you, then I'm going to be every doll. And I'm fucking going to reign terror. Every household will know the knife via my hand. Right. That I like, right? This is different. Yeah. It feels like you got to do one or the other. Do you want to be the ultimate omnipresent murdering doll, or do you want to be human again?
Right. Well, and I think that's the flaw in the logic. That's the flaw in the storytelling that's occurring, is that, because I'll be honest with you, the end of this movie, like when Tiffany shows up, when Jennifer Tilly
is every
shows
doll
up,
going to try to make their own human? I mean, maybe it does work.
But that's
it's just
like
a weird thing.
But that's the problem, though, is like that ending. Because like for me, the ending to this movie is, and I hate to me the ending of this movie is her as Nika killing Andy. Like that would be for me. I thought that's where we were kind of heading. I was assuming there was going to be
at least something, right? Like I thought there was going to be I didn't need you after all, Barclay. You know, like I took everything from you and I would rather leave you here to suffer. Like there's something very poetic about that being the bow that Don Mancini Child's Plays, right?
Sure, that makes total sense. And again, this is the completion of a story between Andy and Chucky, and that makes total sense. Like
it's just played so fast, right?
It's just played very fast, and then it ends with this really weird stinger. And I'm not even talking about the post-credits thing. Like I'm talking about like when she walks up to Jennifer Tilly, she walks up to Tiffany, and they like kiss, which I was just like, all right, again, like I'm at the point I've already seen him breastfeed earlier. Like I'm at the point where literally anything's gonna there's nothing about this that seems weird to me.
Yeah.
But what, like
Chucky
that wasn't
is down
the part
for everything, it seems.
What it was though was that again, like, and then you see the Tiffany doll in the back seat.
Why is the Tiffany doll in the back seat?
Why? It's one of those things where like, why are we doing this? Where like, I understand the multiple Chuckies thing. I understand the want for that, but like,
you think that was a multiple Tiffany's thing?
Well, I don't know.
But then also
like,
there'd have to be multiple human Jennifer Tillys.
Well, my thought, like, there's just like,
do you think when they're all laughing in the car at the end, it's just Don Mancini like, you stupid bastard, stop talking about plot and canon.
Yeah,
just enjoy the ride.
Maybe like this is like that fucking Harry Potter shit with the Horcruxes. I'm like, guys, there's just way too much. Like, this is a weird thing. And
you guys also, had a narrative idea, you blown it out of proportion, and now it's just creating more holes than it's solving.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, it's one of those things where it's like Don Mancini's banking on the fact that we've seen now the completion of a storyline, which is Andy's life, essentially.
Yeah.
That now we're not going to notice the fact that he's like blown the doors off the entire narrative by like giving Chucky a body. And then on top of that, not only that, giving Chucky a body, giving Tiffany giving him a partner in crime, and then for some odd reason, there's a Tiffany doll. Like, he's banking on it just being like, cool moment.
And it was the moment I saw the doll. I was like,
it's fun, man.
But then the doll didn't get a beat, and it made me sad again.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think this movie suffers a bit. I mean, you brought up Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter is a great example of. A lot of people who read fantasy have issues with Harry Potter, right? Because it's one of the worst magical systems ever created by any author, right?
Yeah.
I've read all these things about why waste time building flying cars when you can just teleport?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you traveling in fire when you can teleport, right? Or, why, do you have this and that where people can shapeshift? That should matter more in the world. There's time travel. That should matter. Like, all these giant magical things that you're like, all right, well, if you extrapolate that out past Hogwarts campus, this going to be problems, right? This going to be big old problems.
Well, and that's exactly what happens is like past the doors of the asylum, there's problems.
And that's true. I mean, okay, so let's bring this back a hair, right? Because again, I do think it's just clunky across the board. But again, always fun, always interesting. The one moment of this movie that's just real bad, like shockingly bad, that made me like hurt inside was when I called it the Chuck E. Cheese nightmare, where it was the giant Chucky who looked like a Chuck E. Cheese mascot, but like glitching.
Yes.
That was so painfully bad.
Again, this goes back to like
neither here nor there, because most of it's good.
This goes back to the outtakes. This is the B-sides, and like, it's like any other B-sides record, you're gonna love like 4 or 5 songs, and the rest of it's terrible.
You're like, this is really experimental. I kind of like your radio.
It's like, cool. Yeah. That's why it was a B-side, and that's why we never fucking heard it. Okay. Like, again,
that's true.
Sergeant Pepper's re-release is amazing. It also has like takes like 45 and 37 of Strawberry Fields Forever. Like, man, I'm glad that was not the take on the record. Like,
well, it's like my friends that try to convince me that like they need 85 versions of Dave Matthews songs. And you're like, I'm pretty sure the best version made it onto the record. They sold millions of copies of it.
That is a perfect summation of this movie. Honestly, like that is like, I like, if you went to college in the Midwest, more than likely there was one guy on your floor. I'm still friends with him. The person who was on my floor literally every day woke up and downloaded the live set from the latest Dave Matthews show. And you're like, and I at one point I'm like, dude, you have like 20 gigs of Dave Matthews songs. It's the same show every time. He's like, well, sometimes it's a little bit different. You're like,
sometimes that's all you need, man.
Sometimes that's all you need, though.
No, but okay, there are 2 major things we got to get to before we wrap this up. We see the most shocking display of Dumbala's power in this film. And we've talked a lot on this series, probably more than most podcasts that would talk about the Child Play franchise. You and I specifically have really gone down a Dumbala rabbit hole. This is the most shocking abuse of Dumbala's power So not only does he allow Charles Lee Ray to take over this woman that he's victimized, he killed her family twice, has just led her to misery. He is the reason that she is born with her disability.
She's a paraplegic.
Yeah, they say something like the knife hit her in utero, something like that.
The knife he stabbed her mom with hit her in utero, so she can't walk.
Yes. Yeah. So this is a lot, right? So Damballa lets Charles Lee Ray take her body. Not only that, Damballa heals her body so that she can fucking walk. And apparently unatrophies her leg so that she can stomp that motherfucker's head.
Stomp that guy's fucking head wide open.
Which, that's one where I think we're all like, hail Damballa, good for you. We wanted that scene.
Damballa, you merciful God, good for you. Yes.
This is one of those things that just happens in the movie and we don't really acknowledge a lot. I was screaming at my TV. I was like, Damballa reigns! Chaos reigns! This is the first time we're like, Damballa, we thought that he was torturing Charles Lee Ray. It seems like perhaps this was the 12 labors of Hercules thing. Yeah. He just had to prepare Charles.
Yeah. For the ultimate. Are you saying that perhaps Charles Lee Ray is Damballa's avatar on Earth?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I could buy that.
This is a shocking abuse of power from a deity. In a modern era where deities don't do miracles, they hide from us, usually because they don't exist. This is Damballa just dropping his sack on the table. Just that big old, like, you're going to need a carpenter to fix this desk set of nuts. And just saying, I will take this victim and I will heal her body just for you, Chucky. That is a fucking wild way to wrap up the odd couple story of Damballa and Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I like that because we have like gone through all these movies talking about just like what a fucking gauntlet he's put him through. But again, Don Mancini is a great writer. He pays off really well when you think about it because he does. Well. He very much. You're right. It's the labors of Hercules. It's Charles Lee Ray proving himself worthy of being the physical avatar.
Yeah, what started as a white appropriator being punished and mocked and humiliated. Now he's taken the throne. He's taken the fucking mantle. I thought that part was stunning. And also, I thought it was really cool.
It is.
Watching Fiona Dourif do her dad.
That's
fucking cool.
That's fucking cool, man.
That made me smile so big.
That's a really cool little chef's kiss.
She's
for the whole
fucking
thing.
Awesome.
She's awesome.
And I hope
so good.
I know she was in Tenet. I read. I didn't see Tenet, but I heard she's in Tenet. So hopefully she's gonna be in a lot of stuff because I think she's fantastic, man.
I'll have to watch Tenet again, maybe.
Yeah, and this is kind of the end of the Don Mancini Chucky. Again, we have the TV show. I don't know enough about that to know how that's going to fit with this.
I watched the trailer. Looked cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super in. I'll be there day one. But I think it was cool that seeing her do her dad and wrap this up, and she almost is dressed like Charles Lee Ray at the start of the first one. I thought that was really cool, man.
Got the jacket and all that shit. Yeah, I like that too.
That's beautifully done fan service, I think.
Yeah,
all right,
I think
we got to talk about it because we made it the whole pod. Let's see. I got my Chucky cheese joke in. Yeah, we're good. This fucking psychiatrist.
Oh my God.
I mean, this motherfucker. I don't know how we made it this long without doing this.
Oh my God.
This is a great horror movie sub character. Like, this is great.
He's the worst. Terrible. I mean, he's the most garbage psychiatrist of all time. Like, it's worse than like.
Well, I think you know that the whole movie, and when it pays off, you're like, oh, finally, now it all makes sense how he's the worst therapist ever.
Yeah, it's such a straight. Yeah, he's like the most despicable. It's this like wonderfully despicable character. I adore.
He's abusing these women. He's hypnotizing them. He's making them He's putting them underneath fake evidence so he can control. You're like, they unroll a lot of possible
like he's
crimes.
all the way terrible.
Yeah.
Like there's no redeeming quality to him. So yeah, like the payoff is supreme. And
He's fucking vile. He's a vile sack of shit.
He's terrible.
And he plays it really well.
Who's that actor? He's so good at being just an absolute
I
creep.
don't remember names. But yeah, he's fantastic. I thought the recurring motif that I love, though, because it happens twice where you're like, dude, stop buying heavy, fancy whiskey bottles.
Yeah, Jesus
where Chucky
Christ.
just cracks him over the back of the head. And he's like, Jesus Christ, I don't know whether to be repulsed or to take notes. He's like, like even Chucky is judging the shit out of this doctor who's got this red shoe kink. And he's doing these horrible things to her when she's under hypnosis and she can't even remember.
All the way terrible. Like
even Chucky takes pause and is like, this motherfucker.
Yeah. Chucky's like, and I can't remember the last, I don't think it happens in any of these movies where Chucky actually steps back and goes, Jesus Christ, that is not right.
Well, he's like, I just can't with this guy. After he did his whole, like, it's going to make a hell of a book. Just this piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's the world's most despicable character. Like, I think he might be.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about, like, absolutely irredeemable assholes in these movies. Like, not just these movies, but, like, every movie we've talked about on this pod. I think he might be the top probably two. Top two worst people we've ever watched in a movie.
That's a tight race. There's a lot of bad people, right?
There's a lot of sacks of shit in that.
He's in the club.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the VIP baller lounge of absolute despicable pieces of shit.
Yeah, he's in the Delta Sky Club of, like, being the absolute piece of shit.
Dude.
On the way to just, like...
I thought that was so awesome, though, of Chucky just being, like, gross with this guy.
That might be one of my favorite...
we saw, he just finished doing a throat rip on the mother.
I love that.
He's drilling people's eyeballs out, and then he's like, ew, this guy, gross.
Yeah. Oh, God. I forgot. Yeah, that is, like, my favorite line of the movie. Is like, I don't know whether I got to take notes.
Yeah. I thought the doctor was pretty awesome. It was a nice reveal. And again, it just leads to that when he gets his fucking face stomped.
So,
it is, dare I say, an orgasmic release of pent-up hatred that was just delightful. All right, so we talked about the doctor very briefly, right? But let's just wrap this up, man, because this is the end of, we still have the reboot, but Don Mancini, there's a lot of stories about how that went south, right? And, he didn't have the say in that one. So this is kind of the end of the Mancini Child's Play that we've seen, and I mean, everything great in this franchise spawns from him, right? What did you make? Was Colta a worthy way to say goodbye? Which it's not goodbye. The TV show's back. But there was a time when we thought this might have been it.
I actually do think this is a great send-off.
I agree.
The ending not being my favorite, with, like, Tiffany and the doll, notwithstanding, it's still a great send-off. Like,
it's just fun and weird.
The beat still rings true, and that's, like, the power of the movie itself, and that's the power of this franchise is, like, the beat makes absolutely no sense. Like, from a logic standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, you're like, what the fuck is happening at the end of this movie? But the image and the laughter and the ending is so crisp and so good. At the same time, you're like, I have to bow down and say, like, shit, dude, I'm in.
Yeah. Her doing her dad, Brad Dourif, right? The laugh, the swagger. Jennifer Tilly had to be in this. And I would argue, she almost has to be the closer of the last Don Mancini Child's Play. Not the last. We're getting the TV show. I'm sorry. I keep
True.
And, just seeing Tiffany again, it's just a nod and a wink to, again, I think this franchise, it always defaults to interesting, right? Whenever Chucky felt like it could have been a one-joke movie, and that wouldn't have lasted very long. It always found a way to twist and turn and be interesting and give us new perspectives and lensing. And I think this movie, yes, this is kind of the experimental, here are just ideas. there's no real attachment to anything in this film, right? A little bit of attachment to like Andy from the past. I don't know that they did a great job.
A little bit of attachment to Andy, the mother. You're right.
I mean,
She's got
the mother has a very heartwarming story. Nika, I think, was great. I don't think they did a good job of ingratiating us, right? Because it felt so inevitable, like you're saying. But again, she was fantastic, right? It just, this movie is constantly just fun and paying off fan service. And again, Chucky felt like Chucky in this one again. And that was awesome to see. And then to see the Hide the Soul and Dumbala's fucking reign of chaos begin, I thought that was cool. Like, that would be my default. I'm like, is this the pinnacle of the series? Absolutely not. Is it fucking cool? Yes. This is a cool movie, and I enjoyed watching it immensely.
It's a closer. Coffee's for closers.
I'm fucking glad Don Mancini's getting another run.
Me too.
I think what he did with the Child's Play franchise is very special.
Agreed. I'm excited for what he's got coming next.
That's it for Cult of Chucky. We made it, guys. Well, no, we didn't. One more. And then after that, we got to finish the 31 Days of October, the horror movie mega marathon, our headfirst descent into the abyss of horror.
We have so many great guests.
So many great guests. 2 Patreon exclusive episodes that our patrons have voted on. Guys, on that note, reminder, patreon.com/Film Alchemist Pod. Guys, you can vote on the Patreon exclusive movies. You can access them. And for a little bit of your dollars, your hard-earned dollars, we understand that. We appreciate those of you who help us out. You get to actually pick the movies you want to hear about, guys. So again, patreon.com/Film Alchemist Pod is the best way to help us give you the show that you want. Film Alchemist is the YouTube channel. FilmAlchemistPod@gmail.com is the email. Rate, review. Find us on all your socials. Join us tomorrow as we reboot Chucky and Child's Play. Not wildly popular with fans in the horror community, it felt like, but I think a movie that has a lot of merit. I think it's a really good reboot, especially compared to some other horror movies.
I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about it.
That's right. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We know it's a lot of episodes. We appreciate. Stay tuned. Tell all your friends to join the fun. Shares, retweets, all that great stuff. For the Film Alchemist, I'm Josh Griffey.
I'm Alex Dandino.